Yeah.
Good
morning,
Wham!
Wham! Or really, good night. I'm ready for bed. All right, we'll read you a bedtime story. This is a fun bedtime story about war and killing people and taking their land.
Yay!
All right, so this is America, and this is how we had a war with Mexico about the western part of the United States. All right, so let's read on, shall we? Fighting over a border. The Texans thought their southern border went down to the Rio Grande River. Mexico said, "No, it doesn't." The U.S. said that the Mexicans owed a lot of money to American citizens, and it was time to pay up. Things got tense. Both countries sent armies to the Texas border. Both those armies had hotheads. President James K. Polk had already decided to declare war when some Mexicans killed some Americans, or so it was said. It was May of 1846 and the Mexican War had begun. People in the United States had mixed feelings about the war. President Polk was eager to fight. So were many other people. What they wanted was Mexican land. Thousands rushed to volunteer. Some people thought the United States should take all of Mexico. Slave owners saw Mexico as a place to extend slavery. Some said they wanted to spread the American way of life. It was that manifest destiny idea. But not everyone agreed. Some Americans said the United States was acting like a bully, picking on a weak neighbor. Our man wouldn't be happy.
No, it would not.
It took courage to speak out against the war. It usually does. Frederick Douglass, the abolitionist, had courage. Douglass wrote, "In our judgment, those who have all along been loudly in favor of the war and heralding its bloody triumphs with apparent rapture have succeeded in robbing Mexico of her territory. We are not the people to rejoice. We are to rather blush and hang our heads for shame." Writer Henry David Thoreau refused to pay his taxes and went to jail. He didn't want his tax money used to support a war. 3 church groups, Congregational, Quaker, and Unitarian, denounced the war. Walt Whitman, a journalist who would soon become a poet, wrote that America knows how to crush as well as how to expand. He favored peaceful expansion. From the war front, there were soon reports of ransacked towns, drunken soldiers, and senseless killing of civilians. Wars are usually like that. More than 9,000 soldiers deserted the army before the war was over. Henry Clay, who had been a war hawk in 1812, wrote, "This is no war of defense, but one of unnecessary and offensive aggression. It is Mexico that is defending her firesides, not we." A gangly, long-legged 38-year-old congressman named Abraham Lincoln stood up in Congress and attacked President Polk for starting an unnecessary war. Allow the president to invade a neighboring nation whenever he may choose to? You allow him to make war at pleasure. The House of Representatives passed a resolution condemning Polk. But in New York, Philadelphia, Indianapolis, and many other places, the war was very popular. It was a war fought for territory, not ideals. It was most Americans at that time seemed to want it that way. At parades and rallies, citizens cheered the war effort. American soldiers fought all the way to Mexico cities, to the halls of Montezuma. They fought Santa Anna, who was back in power, and they won the war. Many of the soldiers who fought together in Mexico would soon be fighting against each other. Some of their names are Robert E. Lee, T.J. Stonewall Jackson, Ulysses S. Grant, and George B. McClellan. None of them realized it then, but The Mexican War was a training school for another war that was soon to come. General Winfield Scott, who was called Old Fuss and Feathers because he always looked so splendid in his neat, elegant uniform, became a national hero. So did another general, Old Rough and Ready Zachary Taylor, whose uniform wasn't neat at all. Soldiers and sailors returned home singing this song. I have no idea what the chorus is. When Zachary Taylor gained the day, heave away Santiano. He made poor Santy run away, all on the plains of Mexico. So heave her up and away we go, heave away Santiano. Heave her up and away we'll go, all on the plains of Mexico. General Scott and Taylor too, heave away Santiano. Have made poor Sandy meet his Waterloo, all on the plains of Mexico. When the war was over, the Texas-Mexico border was set at the Rio Grande River. But the United States got more than that border settlement. Under the terms of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, signed in 1848, the United States received California, which at the time meant that land that stretched from Texas to California and went as far north as Wyoming. President Polk didn't know how lucky he was, nor did the rest of the nation. Something had just been discovered in California on land that belonged to a good-hearted Swiss Californian, John A. Sutter. Something very valuable. Can you guess what that was, Connor?
Probably, I'd say, can I tell? Can I
Yeah?
say? Probably, I know that there was a gold rush, so.
There you go.
Gold.
The gold in them there hills. All right. So we'll learn about gold and Oregon Trail next week. Bye.